My name is Magda. I'm a videographer, I work at America's Test Kitchen, and I have an insatiable sweet tooth. And while I'm not a pro, I've learned a few things about baking and dessert making since I started working here. Show-stopping confections may look intimidating, but if I can do it, anyone can. So let's do this together and make some dessert. In another life, I'd be a pastry chef in a Parisian bakery making croissants, macarons, and choux au craquelin to my heart's content. But I'm not, so attempting to make them at home has been the next best thing. Choux pastry in particular is not only challenging, but extremely rewarding. Light as air, crispy, chewy, and buttery at the same time, when filled with pastry cream, it's a next-level experience. There are a few moving pieces in this recipe, but I'm going to tackle them one by one, and I'm going to start with my pastry cream. And for that, I need 2/3 cup or 3½ ounces of all-purpose flour, followed by a 1/2 cup or 3½ ounces of granulated sugar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of table salt. Whisk those together, and as you can see, I have 6 large egg yolks waiting off to the side that I've already separated. Next up, a 1/2 cup of whole milk. Being careful to add it to the egg mixture in a slow and steady stream so I don't make a mess, and whisking until I see that there are no lumps of flour left in the bowl. And now it's time to heat up some more milk. I'll need a medium-sized saucepan, and into the pan I'm measuring 2 cups of whole milk. Now the milk needs to come to a simmer before I can add the egg mixture, and now I'm going to set my heat to medium. It's a little hard to gauge how hot my cooktop gets, so I'm going to whisk the milk constantly just to make sure it doesn't scald on the bottom. Now before I can add the egg mixture to the hot milk, I need to temper the eggs so they don't scramble. So I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of hot milk to the egg mixture, again in a slow and steady stream. Don't need any splashes of hot milk on me or the counter, but especially me. And thankfully, I can see already that my eggs are scramble free, so I can turn my cooktop off and add the tempered mixture to the saucepan. Now I'm going to set my cooktop back to medium heat, and I'm going to whisk constantly for about a minute. After a minute, the mixture should look a little something like this, noticeably thicker but still pretty loose. I'm going to reduce my heat to medium-low and then set a timer for anywhere between 6 to 8 minutes. And once I see that gluey consistency, I'm going to turn my heat off. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I've already cut them into individual pieces. I'm going to add them to the pastry cream one at a time, continuing to whisk. All right, last piece of butter. And now, one more thing, just a tablespoon of vanilla. That's actually a really good example of what happens to me when I add ingredients too fast or all at once. I guess maybe that's 3/4 tablespoons of vanilla. So as soon as possible, I'm going to pour the pastry cream through a strainer into a wide, heat-safe bowl. For me, the ultimate no-no in pastry world is a lumpy or grainy pastry cream, and sometimes lumps can happen when I've accidentally overcooked the eggs. In that situation, a strainer isn't going to cut it. Better off starting over. In an otherwise normal pastry cream, which I think I've got here, it's pretty easy to strain out any tiny lumps of egg white or little bits of flour that didn't quite incorporate all the way. As of right now, it looks like I'm lump-free, which is great, so I'm going to press a greased sheet of parchment on top of the cream to make sure that the pastry cream doesn't form a skin on top. And now it goes off to the fridge for a minimum of 2 hours. Now pastry cream mostly out of the way, and while that chills, I can get to work on my craquelin topping. And for that, I need a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, that's 3½ ounces. I need 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter that I've cut into pieces and softened. And now I'll mix and press the butter and sugar together with my spatula. Looking for it to become, again, a thick paste. I wouldn't call this creaming the butter, even though it will take on a very creamy-looking consistency. Now I need a pinch of table salt. Now I need 3/4 cups of flour. Same motion here, just pressing the flour into the butter mixture until I can make a cohesive ball in my hand. Essentially, I like to think of this process as being really similar to rolling out holiday sugar cookies. Onto a piece of parchment paper goes my dough. And using my hands, I'm just pressing the dough into another cohesive mass. Eventually, I want to get this into a 6 by 6 inch rectangle. It only takes a few minutes of elbow grease for me to get it into the shape I need, and now using a ruler, I'm going to make sure that I hit that 6 by 6 almost exactly. Eventually, I want this to be a 13 by 9 inch rectangle. So starting with the 6x6 shape will really help give me a head start. I like to rotate the parchment every few strokes, and at room temperature, this dough is actually really malleable for me. Sometimes it can crack at the edges, and in that case, I would just use my fingers to patch up any cracks or holes. A few more passes with my rolling pin until I've got my 9x13-inch rectangle. I'm going to remove the parchment. Just pressing my 2-inch pastry cutter, or biscuit cutter, or whatever it's called. I'm trying to make 24 2-inch circles in my craquelin dough. I'm going to space these pretty close together, and whether or not I get 24 depends on how accurately I rolled out my dough. And unfortunately, it looks like I might have left a little too much space between some of my circles. That's no matter. I only got 20 out of this one, and I think that's fine for now. I'm going to try and re-roll some of the scraps later to get the last 4. For now, I'm going to replace the sheet of parchment on top of the dough, transfer it to a sheet pan, and send it to the freezer for 30 minutes. Moving right along, it's time to get to work on my choux pastry. Just like the craquelin, I'll need room for 24 pastries. And this is just what I do, but I'd like to create a little guide for myself. For each pastry, I make a little dot and space it about 2 inches away from the next dot onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. Then I'll flip the parchment around, spray it with nonstick spray, and lightly dust it with a fine coating of flour. One more step before I can get my ingredients out. I'll need to pipe my choux pastry eventually onto this sheet pan, so I'm going to fit a large pastry bag over a deep container and cut about a 1/2 inch off the point of the bag. Alright, now it's time for me to start the choux. So into a 2-cup liquid measuring cup, I'm cracking 2 large eggs and adding 1 large egg white. Save that yolk for later. And now I'm going to beat the eggs together until they're very well combined. When I make choux pastry, it comes together really fast and it can be a little overwhelming. So I find it really helpful to have all of my ingredients in their place from the very start. So in addition to the eggs, I'll need a 1/2 cup of flour, that's 2.5 ounces. And now into a medium saucepan, I'll measure 6 tablespoons of water. Two tablespoons of whole milk, that's 1 and 2. A 1.5 teaspoons of granulated sugar, and set it over medium heat while I add 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of table salt. The butter will melt, and eventually the liquid should come to a boil. And once that happens, I'll take the saucepan off the heat and quickly add my flour, and now I'm going to stir constantly, set my heat back to low, and then smear the flour mixture against the bottom and sides of the saucepan. I'll do this for about 3 minutes, watching the mixture and waiting till I see that it resembles a shiny, kind of thick, sandy texture. Once that happens, I'll take it off the heat, and now I'm going to bring out my food processor. I know this is starting to look a tiny bit involved, but when I take the time to have all of my ingredients and equipment set up beforehand, the process is actually pretty smooth. My sand mixture should be pretty hot, so I'm going to run the processor for about 10 seconds to cool it down slightly. After 10 seconds of processing, now it should be cool enough for me to add the eggs. So with the processor still running, slowly streaming the eggs into the flour ball, pop the top, scrape down the sides of the bowl, and I'll also give it one more 30-second whiz before adding it to my pastry bag. Gluey has kind of been the word of the day so far with this recipe, and that's what my choux pastry is looking like right now. It's also still warm, which is a good thing. Now looking at the choux right now, I'm a little bit worried that it's a little thinner than I remember making it in the past. It's possible that I need to recalibrate my food scale. I think this is still going to work for me. But it's too late to turn back now, so I'm just going to proceed and hope for the best. Alright, sheet pan ready. Like I said, my oven is already heated to 400 degrees. And now using the guidelines I made earlier on my parchment, I'm just going to pipe little dollops. They should be about 1.5 inches wide. I found that these choux pastries rise up rather than spread out, so I can afford to space them a little closer together than I would for a cookie, for example. Again, looking for 24 little perfect circles of choux. Now this is my favorite part of this recipe. I kind of wish I had a camera in my oven so you could see how the craquelin melts over the puff pastry. As the puffs rise in the oven, the topping gets super crispy on top and makes the most beautiful little designs. Alright, into my 400-degree oven for 15 minutes. Then without opening the oven door, I'm going to lower the heat to 350 and bake for another 7 to 10 minutes until the tops are crispy and golden brown. Alright, and here's the big reveal. They're light as air, the craquelin looks so crackly. They're not uniform in shape and size, but that's okay with me. They're gonna taste great all the same. And before they're ready for their filling, I need to make sure the insides of the choux are nice and dry. So I'm gonna cut a 3/4 inch slit with a small knife, and then I'll send them back to my still warm oven. The oven is off, and this time I'm going to prop the door open with a wooden spoon. Alright, I'm so close to the finish line. The last thing I need to do is finish the pastry cream. And that's as simple as just adding some whipped cream. So I've got a whole cup of heavy cream, whipping until I get stiff peaks. Using a cold whisk, a cold bowl, and very cold cream makes this step a lot faster and easier. So over the last 2 hours in the fridge, the pastry cream has stiffened considerably, like pretty stiff cement. So I'm just gonna work it into a more spreadable consistency, pressing along the sides of the bowl again. And now I should have read the recipe a little more thoroughly because here I am folding the whipped cream into the pastry cream, when I should have been folding the pastry cream into the whipped cream. I'm not sure how serious of a mistake this is. I have to imagine it has something to do with maybe deflating the whipped cream, but this is looking salvageable. I like to add the whipped cream 1/3 at a time. And once that looks nice, and airy, and cohesive, I'm going to bring out my choux pastries. I've let those cool for about 45 minutes on a wire rack, and they should be nice and dry inside. They're also cool to the touch, so I can go ahead and start filling. Once again, I'm using a piping bag here. I fit it with a small pastry tip. I'm going to put about 1/3 of the pastry cream mixture in at a time because I don't want my hands warming up the pastry cream and making it kind of soupy when it goes into the pastries. And now one by one, I'm going to fill every pastry with just a burst of pastry cream. I do my best not to overfill these pastries. Like I said, this is my favorite alternative to holiday cookies, and while I do take some practice, it's really a worthwhile skill to have. Vanilla cream, crackly brown sugar, and a light as air, buttery pastry encapsulating the whole thing. Couldn't ask for much more than that. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and all of the Let's Make Dessert videos. See you next time.